So for today's project, we're going to be making some pallet wall planters. Okay. Instead of doing a video, I just took a couple of still shots because this is it's a really easy project, but the results are really cool and it's a really good conversation piece. So the first thing you want to do is go out and get yourself some pallets. Try to get some in the best shape you can find. And if you want to do multiple pallets and you want them to look the same, then try to get some pallets that, well, they're the same size and shape. All right, so once you found the pallets that you want, then you have to decide how many layers of plants you want. You can just leave it as is, but then the holes that the plants are coming out of are really small. I decided to go with just 3 levels of planters. So you know, we can use some bigger flowers, and we also just don't have to have as many. And I don't think for our purposes we didn't really have to cram that many in there. Now, when I deconstructed the pallets, I used a hammer and a pry bar. And you know what? The slats on the pallets are really quite thin, and I think it's pretty hard to get the slats off without breaking the slats. So since I've made these pallets, I've since learned that the best way to get those pallets off is just to cut the nails using a Sawzall. So that's what I'll be doing next time I have any pallet projects. Is I won't be prying them apart. I'll be using a Sawzall. So what you want to do is you want to remove the slats that where you want spaces. Okay, so that's what I did. But you want to keep those slats because you can use them later. Now, the first place you want to use them is when you take the slats apart. You'll see that the main runners, the thick 2x4s or what have you, they have big notches in them, and that's where the forklift forks go in. Okay, so if you're going to put dirt in the sleeve pockets, then that dirt's going to fall out the sides where those holes are. So I cut the pallet slats that I wasn't using into smaller pieces, and then I just screwed them in to block off those holes. So that was the next thing I did. So you get your slats off that you don't want, and then you fill the holes, and now most of the woodworking is done. Now your next step is just to get some garden cloth and nail it along the front edge of your front wall, we'll call it, your front border, and then you want to drape around the back of that, and then I try to make it so it was about level with the bottom of that slat. And then I brought it back up, and then I wrapped it around the back slat and make sure it's higher than the first slat, again, because you're going to be filling those pockets up with dirt. So you have to make sure that, you know, the garden cloth goes at least higher than the front. And then so you want to go up and around and down the back side, and then you just staple the garden cloth into there, and then you have the pallet. Now, for me, I made 3 of these, and on two of the slats there was a back piece that was easy to nail into, but then or staple the garden cloth into. But on one of the slats on the front there was no complementary back slat. So again, that's where I used some of the extra slats pulled off. I just nailed those into the back, and that's what I used to hang the cloth in the back as well. Okay. Now, when we saw this project, I think on Pinterest or something, my wife didn't like it because it showed the material that was hanging in the front, and it just, you know, you can leave it like that if you want. But what we decided to do is I used some of the slats, and I actually ran out of slats, but I had more pallets, so I just pulled some slats off those other extra pallets, and then I just cut them into 1-inch strips, and then I just brad nailed those 1-inch strips over top of the material on the front edge, so that way you don't see all the jagged material. You get a nice clean line with that 1-inch strip. Okay, and then now you're done. It's pretty much done. You can put it on the wall as is. We decided that we wanted to stain ours, so I just got some wood stain from a shade that I like, stained it all up, and then hung it on the wall. It's that easy. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any photos to show you with actual plants in them because it's too cold still. And so we won't be able to, we're still getting some frost, so we won't be able to plant those those annuals until, a week or two, or maybe even a month from now. But they'll go in nice and easy, and no problems. Then we just have to make sure you keep them watered because there's not that much soil there, and because it is garden cloth, I think that soil will dry out pretty quick. So just stay on top of it and make sure those plants stay watered. And that's it. That is how you make a pallet garden wall hanger planter thing. All right. Have fun. If you make it yourself, make sure you take some pics and post them up on the Facebook page. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.